My next guest witnessed the protests this weekend, but was asked to leave by a police officer. Rabbi Adam Scheier was there with his family wearing a kippah. According to him, officers saw him and said his presence was a provocation. Rabbi Scheier joins me now. Rabbi, I really appreciate you giving us your time today here on Canada Tonight.
Thanks for inviting me, Angie.
Can you walk us through what exactly unfolded on Saturday?
Yeah, it was Sunday afternoon, and just want to be clear, I did not go to attend a protest. We went downtown with my family to go shopping, as we often do on Sunday afternoons. One of my daughters wanted something for her upcoming birthday, and we looked around, and the aritzia that she wanted, or the item that she wanted, was available at the downtown aritzia. So we went there, we grabbed some drinks at Second Cup, and we were happy to support Second Cup because of the recent principled statement they made about one of their franchisees who was an anti-Semite. And so we were downtown not for a protest, but just to have a Sunday afternoon with a family in downtown Montreal. We saw the protest coming up the street. We heard it. We heard the banging. We heard the slogans being yelled. We saw the police, first the police lights, and then we just saw the whole group coming up. And we went out to the street to see what was happening. And when I saw that it was an anti-Israel protest, I took out my phone, as I often do. I think it's important to witness these moments and to share with the world what's being said at these hateful protests. And I started to record. That was it. Didn't talk to anyone. Didn't do anything other than stand there with my phone and record.
But the police did see you and I guess wanted to remove you from the area for your safety.
Presumably, a policeman came up to us. There were a lot of police in the area, and a policeman came up to me and said, "Move on," basically, and pointed away from the direction of where the protesters were. And I was a little bit confused at first because I looked around and I saw there were dozens, hundreds of people standing there, many of them holding up their phones just like I was, observing, seeing, and I was trying to understand why he asked me. And it occurred to me, it was like a weight of bricks that just fell on me. This, that moment, that realization that I'm the only one there wearing a kippah. And that was the moment. And he said to me, I said, "Why are you asking me to leave? What am I doing? I haven't spoken one word to a protester. I haven't shouted one slogan. I'm standing there silently with my phone." And he said, "Well, we don't want a fire to start on both sides. We have to keep everything calm." And that was devastating.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit more about that. Clearly, and I'm sure confusing as well for your children and for your wife, as you say that you were there just for a family outing. And we know that the mayor has said that these protests were done by professional vandals and did not believe that this was anti-Semitic. But hearing what you're hearing from the mayor, what you heard from this police officer asking you to move away, what was going through your mind?
But this isn't the first time that we've encountered these protesters. About 3 weeks ago, they came to my synagogue and tried to block the entry for an event that we were hosting. We had 550 people inside, a group of about 50 or 60 protesters outside. And so we're coming with this baggage. My children have seen these protesters. They've heard them address me before. They've heard them yell at me, and they've heard them stand outside a synagogue and say, "I support Hamas." They've heard them tell me, "Go back to my country," whatever that means. They've heard them call me a dog, call me a terrorist. And so this is coming with all of the weight of that. And the children are afraid. Obviously, they're very fearful of what might happen, and seeing in the news and hearing what's happening. There's a great deal of fear that we have in these moments.
What do you tell as a leader, as someone that people would look to for comfort, for guidance? What do you tell members of your community?
We tell our community, firstly, to stand proud, that there is a great fear that exists in our community right now, and we have to acknowledge that. And at the same time, this is our home. I stood there on the streets, on St. Catherine Street in Montreal, as a proud Canadian, as a resident of the city. I've lived in the city for 20 years. My children were all born and raised here. My wife was born and raised in this country. And this is a moment of trying to define what the values, what the overriding values of our society are. And so we're telling our community that this is an opportunity for our voices to be heard, that we have to continue to act for good and continue to bring light to the world and make sure that those who are spewing hate aren't allowed to to just continue and take over the streets of our beautiful city in the way that they have over the past year.
Rabbi, before I let you go, I know that there have been strong calls, more action needs to be taken, protection of members of the community. As you heard there, the mayor saying that this type of event that happened on the weekend wasn't anti-Semitic. What your comments on what she said there and her thoughts, but also what you want more to be done to protect everyone, to protect the community?
Just want existing laws to be implemented. I want there to be a recognition that the reality that we're living through, in which masked hooligans have full run of the streets, in which police are more interested in protecting the rights of protest of these individuals each and every week so often, rather than protecting our charter rights or my right as a Canadian to simply stand and observe silently. That we need to make sure that our laws are implemented. We need to make sure that our cities are not overrun in the ways in which they have been in these past many months.
Rabbi, I appreciate you giving us your time today. Rabbi Adam Scheier, thank you again for this.
Thank you.